Mayor-elect John Ewing Jr. joins us now. Welcome, Your Honor, to be.
Good evening. Thank you all for having me.
Mr. Mayor-elect, it is very good to see you. Many people have asked, how did you win this race? And last week, this is a post from the Nebraska Democratic Party on X, and we're going to put the picture of this ad up. And it says that Gene is focused on potties, John is focused on fixing potholes. Economics are at the top of people's minds, including potholes all over Omaha. Ewing will make lives better by focusing on issues that impact all of us. Jean Stothert and her allies are sending hateful mail and pushing creepy bathroom bills. Is this how you won the race?
That's one of the ways. But the reality is we focused on quality of life issues. We focused on the things that were important to the people of Omaha, and we won convincingly.
And when you talked to those voters, what were the things that were top of mind for them?
Well, we talked about economic development, and in particular, intentional economic development in our underserved communities in North and South Omaha, where we have a large Black population in North Omaha and a large Latino population in South Omaha. And that resonated not only with those residents, but with people across the city. We also talked about public transportation. We talked about decent and affordable housing. Omaha is going to need at least 18,000 new affordable housing units by 2030. We also talked about just the basics of city services, street repair, police, fire, snow removal, all those type of things that people care about. I don't think they cared about the bathrooms. I was never asked about that in this whole campaign, and I was campaigning about 15 months.
So, Mayor-elect, it really was about the price of eggs, if you will, as a representation of the things that we were told were important to voters in the presidential election. Apparently still remain true. So no matter how much you want to go out as an opponent and make a cultural argument, people still have to pay their bills. They still have to raise their kids. They still have to run their businesses. And they got to make sure that the services that the city provides them are there. You have the Washington Post noting that this was likely a test case for voter attitudes, and that's important. The election was a fresh test of voter attitudes in a politically competitive slice of the country. The seat held by Stothert is technically nonpartisan, but disquiet over Trump's agenda produced a surge of Democratic energy, reminiscent of the closer-than-expected special elections for Republican-held seats in Florida, and a decisive victory for Democrats in the high-stakes Wisconsin Supreme Court race. I would even go back, Mayor, and say that this reminds me a lot of the energy on the ground in 2009, leading into a very important number of races in the 2010 presidential congressional cycle. How do you see your race in the context of where the country is and where the country is potentially moving, despite all the crazy other stuff that's going on, some of which we talked about on the show tonight? You're on the ground, heartbeat to heartbeat with the citizens of your community. What are you hearing?
Well, here's one of the things that we did in our campaign, and that was we pointed out the chaos that was happening in Washington, D.C. We pointed out some of the things that were truly impacting people and hurting them when it came to potential cuts in Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, those type of things. And what we saw from the people in Omaha was that they cared about those issues, and they truly wanted a mayor who was going to stand up and fight for them and fight with them to be able to have those type of quality of life issues addressed. And so I very frankly said to them that I'm going to stand with them against the chaos, and we're going to get some things done.
You know, Mr. Mayor-elect, first of all, ever since I moved to D.C., people always say, oh, there's black people in Nebraska, and now I'm going to have to tell them yes, and the mayor is also black, including the mayor of Omaha. But I think that this race was actually very, very important. Because Omaha is, I think it's most notably in District 2, known nationally as the Blue Dot. But it is going to be one of the most hotly contested races next year for the midterm elections. Omaha is a microcosm, I like to think, of many places across the country. It has everything. You have wealthy suburbs, if you will. You have conservative communities, progressive communities, and people who would describe themselves as living in the middle. Burgeoning African-American population, a Latino population. All of these issues that have been touch points across the country converge in the city of Omaha. And I think that there are a lot of lessons that people can take from this race and assumptions, frankly, that they make about people that don't live on the East or West Coast and really, really pull the layers back to make some decisions about what happens next year. I'm wondering your take on that. And if you think John Bacon is going to end up running for re-election. You yourself at one point were a candidate for Congress some years ago.
Sure. I agree with you. I think one of the things, if you start peeling back the layers and you really look at this, it really was about those basic quality of life issues. It was about the chaos and people wanting certainty in their lives. And that's what I believe government should be providing, is a certainty so that people can raise their families, they can run their businesses, they can make decisions knowing what is going to happen instead of worrying about tariffs and worrying about the cost of things and worrying about Social Security. So I think the more Democrats can talk about certainty, the more they can meet people where they're at and talk about those economic issues, I think you have a chance to win races across this country. We just have to stay focused on the message, because right now there's a lot of uncertainty and there's chaos. And if we can counteract that chaos and show sensibility, we have a chance to win. And that's what I did. I showed a lot of sensibility and a lot of common sense in looking at how we were going to govern. You don't care about bathrooms when you just ran into a pothole that did $400 or $500 damage to your car. You don't care about bathrooms when you have a sinkhole in your neighborhood that may cause you to lose equity in your condo. Those were the things I talked about. You don't care about bathrooms if you have streets that are like a roller coaster. And so we talked about those things in this campaign, and we contrasted that to the chaos and the uncertainty.
Mayor-elect, you did not answer Simone's question about whether or not you think John Bacon's going to run for re-election.
Oh, I don't know if he's going to run or not, but I will tell you, I believe it's going to be a very close race if he does.
Mayor-elect John Ewing, I can't tell if you have the discipline to put a period at the end of that sentence or if your service cut out.
I loved it. Hey, Mayor, before you go, I just have a real quick, and this is less than 10 seconds. I presume you had Republicans vote for you in this election.
Absolutely. Just very quickly, because of the practicality of how I govern, I've been the highest recipient of votes in the last two elections when I ran for re-election for Douglas County Treasurer prior to this mayor's race.
All right.
Mayor-elect John Ewing, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. Simone, good to see you.
Very good to see you, John.
Nebraska Corner. And